Hello, friend.
Hey, you cool cats and kittens. Happy Wednesday and welcome back to another amazing episode of Musicians Hangout with your host, Crash Fistfight, the villain that plays the victim, the Booty Pop Moopsie, and Life Clock, and Maxine Maxwell of the Maxwells.
Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How's it going? Oh, man. Good to be back.
It is, I can't even believe that it's the middle of November already.
Oh, my gosh. Right. I was looking at that, and it was so crazy to be planning for our music video montage. That's going to be in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, kids. So get those videos ready.
Yes, get those music videos sent to us. In fact, we just breathed the word on our last show about our montage, and bands have already been sending us stuff.
Yes. So thank you. And send us new stuff too. Like help us debut your new videos.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oozing with talent, you guys. I just love our music community. Thanks for sharing that stuff, you guys, and keep sharing. All right, so we have a really awesome guest for you tonight. I'll go over our mission statement here for Musicians Hangout, and we'll bring him up to the show. Our mission statement is to be part of a revolution, to create friendships with other artists, and build a community network to save
music.
Live music. Okay, you guys. We've got Jordan, the Rage Master, all the way from Utah joining us tonight. Let's bring him up to the show. Hey, Jordan.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody?
The Rage Master.
You talking to your computer or you talking to us?
It's so awesome to be able to interview you finally. I mean, we've been chatting for a few weeks, and we want to hear all about you and your journey as a musician. So, Jordan, the Rage Master, how did you get that name?
Yeah.
Funny story. My journey actually started as a YouTube Let's Player.
Really?
It was a little channel me and my brothers put together called Dudes of Rage, and it was a little tongue-in-cheek reference to Streets of Rage, an old Sega game that was my favorite game as a kid. And I came up with that name as a joking little replacement for CEO of the company we were trying to put together with that. And instead of being the CEO, I called myself the Rage Master, and it kind of just stuck.
I like it.
I love that.
The Rage Master.
That title in and of itself is another little tongue-in-cheek reference to, I don't know if you guys ever watched it, his old 90s half animated, half live action Macaulay Culkin movie with Doc Brown in it too. It's called The Page Master.
The Page Master?
Yeah.
I forgot about. I was just actually thinking about that movie just the other day ago.
That is a blast from the
I did not know that was Macaulay Culkin though.
Yeah.
That's
it was that was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and so I looked at the name of the movie because I had the cassette tape still. I found it and I was like, what if I turned the P into an R?
Much better. Oh goodness, especially for someone in metal. I mean, couldn't have a better nickname for that.
It all just kind of clicked and
mine's
stuck.
better, I think. I mean, Crash Fistfight for crying out loud.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool too. Yeah, that is cool.
It all just kind of clicked and stuck because I was working on putting together when I was living out in Portland in 2019 and 2020. It was a theatrical metal band that was called In Blackest Night, and I'm a big comic book geek. I got this side. I got my Deadpool sweatshirt on too. I'm a big comic book geek, and some of my favorite comic books ever are the Green Lantern comics. That's some of my favorite mythos and any fiction ever.
I am a huge Flash girl.
Yeah, Flash is awesome.
He's my favorite. He's the best one.
I know I'm decked out in Marvel stuff, but I'm more of a DC fanboy.
I'm a huge DC Universe girl, yeah.
And the Green Lantern's Oath is in brightest day and blackest night. So like I decided to take that concept and decide. A lot of people know of the Green Lanterns and they know of the Yellow Lanterns and everything, but they don't know of the rest of the colors. There's
Yeah.
red for rage, you know,
Yep.
and there's orange for greed, and so on and so forth. And the idea was to bring together a bunch of people, have everyone pick out an emotion, make some fucked up looking costume based on that emotion, and bring that emotion up on stage with them. And
Oh, that's
we had that going for about 6 months or so, maybe give or take about 6 months, and we had just barely started getting some gigs lined up, and then COVID hit, it shut down everything.
oh shit.
Yeah,
Fucking COVID,
Yeah.
man.
and so and then on top of that, my son's mother and I split up.
Oh,
It was a mutual separation. We just realized we
okay.
weren't good for each other, and I ended up back out in Utah. Didn't have anywhere else to go, so been out here for the last 4 years, just trying to get my life back in order, and not doing very well with that because
Oh,
I'm far too trusting, and I've trusted the wrong people time and time and time again. So now I'm just doing it on my own. I've screwed it. I mean,
I am very guilty of doing the same thing.
yeah, like case in point, I'm staying in a shelter right now, and it's not because of any lack of work or anything like that. It's just a lack of anywhere to go. I've been tossed around like a human pinball for the last couple of years, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth from one end of the state to another, and then now I'm just down here. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I'm planting my feet, and I'm going to deal with it.
And I respect that for you,
yes.
truly. But I love that you have music as that outlet.
Yes.
I
I can't wait to hear the music you create about that whole journey.
I've got quite a few songs. We with the last band I was with, Carina, we ended up recording we wrote enough for a double concept album. We recorded quite a lot too. We just are mixing and mastering and everything. Everything's still coming through the pipeline. But I could forward over some of my stuff over to
Oh,
you
I
if
would
Oh
love
yeah,
to
hit you
please
up on
hear
do.
Facebook.
that.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Pretty please with sugar on top. Nice little cherry
Um,
dusting on there too.
but my musical journey started as a guitarist. Actually, I started
Really
trombone first. I was in band when I was a kid,
nice. Yes.
and started learning saxophone a little bit, and then my parents got me my first guitar, and I'm like, nah, fuck it, guitar now. So I started learning guitar, played in a bunch of a lot of my bands never really went anywhere. It was
Okay.
me mostly just like getting together with my buddies, playing in our garage, and every once in a while we'd do like a garage show for our neighborhood, and that was about it. And
Back
one
in the
band,
day, we played at Grange halls. Just
yeah,
rented out a
Yeah.
Grange hall.
The Granges. Yeah.
Like that's
we tried to do a little pop up show in the park one time and got escorted out by the cops because Utah is
Oh,
not very. Yeah, we were like
that's
14,
awesome.
15. And they were cool. They
Yes.
were cool about it, but like
Yeah.
a bunch of old people living, especially where I live and grew
Oh.
up. I grew up in this town. It's in St. George, Utah, and it's up until about I want to say 10 years ago. It used to mostly just be like a retirement community. People moving down from up north, getting tired of the cold, and wanting to retire down here and go golfing all year long. And so loud noises and old people don't really mix.
yeah.
Great.
They don't like it when they're teeing off.
But it was just like one band. It was me and my buddies that I grew up with, and that band just became a bunch of different stuff. It started off as like a little thrash project. We wanted to do kind of like a Metallica cover band, and then it turned into a ska. It ended up turning into a ska parody band that we called the Dirty Jockstraps. And then after Dirty Jockstraps, we ended up doing a punk band that we called Toilet Water.
Yes, these names.
I mean, I just feel like those are fitting.
Those are great.
So, I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
And then we all kind of later on in high school and stuff, we all kind of drifted apart, and then after high school we never even kept in contact anymore. So most of my music was just me doing stuff on my own, writing stuff with my brother ended up actually taking up drums. My little brother Peyton ended up taking up drums, and he was permanent drummer. Even if we didn't have a band, it was just me and him jamming and writing stuff in the garage all day, all night.
Nice.
Cool.
And then eventually my brother Jake ended up taking up vocals, and they already had 2 guitarists lined up, but they needed a bassist, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it, it can't be that different from playing rhythm guitar. So I ended up being their founding bassist, played with them for a little bit. Wasn't super long, and maybe just like a month or 2. And then me and my brother Peyton ended up putting together a band called Last Call, and Last Call is actually what became In Blackest Night over time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Right on. Shout out to Chet. You know Chet? He's like, it's
Chet.
punk.
Because Chet seems to be knowing you.
I think he knows you.
He said Toilet Jed
Toilet
and Turd
Jed,
Boy.
Turd Boy.
Peyton Manning is my bro.
Peyton Manning is my bro.
Dude, he's my bro too. Like, that's the whole reason why I love the Indianapolis Colts.
Walter Payton is the Peyton I always think of.
Oh,
I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I know they ain't worth a damn, but that's my team. Go Bears.
They had the Refrigerator Perry.
That's right.
Back in the 80s.
Jim McMahon.
And he was a fucking force.
Yeah, and Urlacher too. That's the last time they were worth a damn, when they had Urlacher with them.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, 80s. He's super successful. Yes, Peyton Manning is super successful. Just look at his insurance commercials that he's doing.
Insurance, and he's also doing the whatchamacallit, the Hawaiian rolls or whatever commercials now with his
that's right. He even got little bro Eli in on that one.
Yeah. He was the spokesperson for Papa John's, I believe it was, for a long time.
A long time, yeah.
So Chet wants to know how you're doing.
I'm surviving, man. I am surviving. How are you doing, Chet?
Yeah, Chet.
Tell us how you're doing, Chet. Well, and you're surviving, Jordan, but you're thriving.
I was just
you've been back to back on interview shows now. People are starting to get a hold of you to interview you and have you on their shows. And
yeah, it's wild. I've been beating my head against this wall for all of my life and just never getting anywhere. I always wanted to be a singer. That was my passion.
That's the story behind just being.
What was that?
Yeah.
I'm turning it down right now.
I think I've got to turn my ringer off too.
Scooby!
That's great.
People just keep messaging me though.
So Chet says he's doing decent and that he's living the dreams. Drams. I think he means dreams, maybe. I appreciate. Oh, you're welcome.
I am living the dream also.
Yes, we very much appreciate everyone that's tuning in. If you guys have questions for our guests, don't be shy. Put them in the chat. We'll get them answered for you. All right. So, Jordan, who are your influences? Who do you listen to, and who influences you as an artist?
I've got a wide range of influences when it comes to as a broader musical spectrum. I
so you're polyamorous.
Well, I grew up on hair metal. I was raised on hair metal. My parents were big hair metal fans, and so Motley Crue, Def Leppard. But my dad was more of the heavier metalhead. So I got Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Metallica through him.
Sabbath, any Sabbath?
Yeah, lots of Ozzy, Sabbath, yeah.
Yes.
And then I just kind of took off on my own journey. It started with Linkin Park, of all bands. So that was my journey into the heavier side of metalcore, new metal, that type of stuff. Chester Bennington was my hero. Not just even as a musician, he was my hero. Chester. Yeah, seriously. He was my role model. He's who I looked after. My parents struggled a lot when we were kids to really to be good parents at times. It was the weirdest dynamic because they would show up and do some amazing things sometimes, and they'd fuck up tremendously the next. So I didn't really have anybody I felt like I could look up to when I was growing up until I found Chester. And Chester was my beacon. He was my guiding light for all of my life. And when he died, it
Oh,
destroyed me.
yeah.
I refused to even accept it happened for about 4 years, and then I finally went back and I was watching a bunch of documentaries. I got Jeff Blue's book, One Step Closer, and I read through it, and I crumbled. I fell apart.
Yeah, that's hard,
And so, a lot of what I'm doing actually is dedicated to him.
So, have you ever seen Linkin Park live?
I never got to.
Oh,
I had an opportunity.
I got to see them one time.
I had an
and
opportunity.
I was supposed to trade tattoo work for the ticket.
Yeah.
But the guy never came in for the tattoo work after we went to the concert. But I got to see him with Incubus.
Oh, that'd be a hell of a show.
It was fucking amazing.
I am jealous as hell.
And it just happened to like fall out of the sky. So I'm really grateful that I got to see.
Yeah, that is good.
I had an opportunity to see Stone Temple Pilots when Chester was with them, and I ended up
Ooh, that would be sweet.
I kicked myself in the ass for that forever.
Oh.
I had the chance, I had the choice, and I said, nah. I was getting ready to go see. I was getting ready to go see Avenged Sevenfold the next day anyway. I was tired from work, so like I'm like I'm gonna rest myself up for this next show because I was. In my 20s, I was a huge Avenged Sevenfold fan. Like all through the end of high school and going into my early 20s, I was a huge Avenged Sevenfold fan. Matt Shadows is another one of my biggest influences as a vocalist. And yeah, but a lot of, like I was saying earlier, like a lot of what I'm doing right now is dedicating my journey to Chester because he inspired this, inspired me, and I don't want his light to ever go out. Ever.
I feel like as long as their music is playing and as long as people listen, his light will never.
Right.
I mean, look at Johann Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
Or any of those guys.
Yeah.
Centuries later, we're still playing their music.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids are still learning their songs, so I feel like music is endless. It's timeless.
It is. It outlives us.
Yeah.
It is, a record of our soul, really. So yeah, I think Chester will always live on in that.
It's the ultimate form of immortality.
Absolutely.
So Jim says Chester is king.
Thanks
yes.
Oh, Josh, what's up, buddy?
Oh, that's Josh. Okay.
That's my buddy Josh. Yeah.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for joining us.
Brian wants to know where my rim shot is.
Okay. That's our bandmate, isn't it?
Yes. That comes tomorrow at band practice.
Besides, I mentioned Chester. I mentioned Matt. Corey Taylor is what I like to call my spirit animal.
Yes.
Corey Taylor. His kid sounds identical to him.
No, you haven't heard me yet.
Oh my God.
You gotta check out Vended.
No, I have. Griff is freaking awesome. Griff is awesome.
Oh my God.
It's Griff and Clown Son actually that put that band together.
I literally just saw them play a show together last month.
Did you go to?
No, it was September.
Yeah, a couple months ago, yeah.
I got to see Vended and Slipknot play.
Well, we went to Slipknot a couple years ago together too.
That was the first time I went to Slipknot. But
so good.
I've been 3 times.
Yes.
We got upgraded seats.
We did. We were like nosebleed, and then we got down by the stage. These cushy recliner seats. It was like so bitchin'.
I went to see all 3 times I've seen him has been up at USANA Amphitheater in Salt Lake City.
Nice.
And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before, but the whole, the front areas are all the seats, and the back area is just one big lawn. And
that's how it is at White Center.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the last time I saw him was during the We Are Not Your Kind tour.
Oh,
And actually, no, sorry, that was the second time I saw him. The last time I saw him was the End So Far. Sorry. Um, but when they came out, man, that was a hell of a show. By the way, it was Crown the Empire, Ice Nine Kills, and Slipknot.
Fucking
And
us. Oh my god.
like I've always appreciated Ice Nine Kills, but like their live show is
Their live shit is amazing. I saw them with
yeah,
Metallica like 3 months ago, and I was blown away.
it
Like
is
their
next
music's
level.
good, and then you see them live, you're like, holy shit! Like, yeah,
Yeah,
their whole
yeah,
theatrical,
yeah. That's
everything, fucking awesome.
nothing compares
that
to a
is
live
some
show.
yeah,
Like,
seriously.
that's
But when
my
Slipknot came on, man, there was people tailgating for Slipknot when they were getting ready to come up, and the parking lot was packed with people tailgating. And as soon as they play, usually they play For Those About to Rock right before they come out. And as soon as people heard that, you just hear a roar from the parking lot, and people start flooding in. And I took a
That's
girl with me, and next thing we were in the middle of the lawn, and next thing you know, we're pushed up right against the handrails all the way to the front of the lawn, and
yes,
they opened up with Disaster Piece, and the whole back lawn, man, was just one giant mosh pit, and like I'm a lot older than I look.
fun. Oh my god.
Me
I'm older
too.
than I look, so like my moshing days are well behind me at this point, and
Agreed.
so
I'm
like
put together
As
with
am
an
I.
erector set, so no, I feel you on that.
As am I. I not do it anymore. I was at Hatebreed like 5 years ago, and on the outskirt of the pit, and the singer like looked directly at our whole group, and he was like, "Come on, get in the pit. You know you want to. I'll
Bro,
pay
you're
you."
too old.
And I was like, "Oh,
Holding up our Medicare cards.
no way."
We got AARP.
this
Hatebreed.
hearing how it all went down from her perspective is the funniest damn thing in the world, because I've started playing Meat Shield for her. 'Cause she's a tiny little thing, like 5'2", and I'm 6 foot. So I'm just
Yeah.
playing Meat Shield, just getting beat up. And next thing you know, I've got swept into the pit. I'm like, and it's right at the point of the song when Corey's like, "I'm not supposed to be here," I'm like, "You're right, Corey. I'm not supposed to be here." I
Shit.
just rolled around and pushed around, and I just see his arm come out of the crowd, like somebody saw me, like all out of place. I grabbed it, he yanked me back out, and I was right next to her again. But from her perspective, she said 1 minute I was there, the next she turned to me to say something, and I was gone, and all that there was my leather jacket on the ground. She's like, "It's like
Oh
you
my
got
God.
raptured." And then next thing you know, I'm back. So it's like I got raptured, and God said, "Nah, fuck this guy," and sent me back.
So you're not on the list, bro. You gotta go back.
That would be hilarious from her point of view. Oh my god.
The thing that's playing in my head is just so comical.
it's probably every bit as funny in real life.
Yes.
It was, but that was a hell of a freaking show. That was when she was the first person to ever really kind of convince me to get out and do it. Because like I always kind of sang for myself, and like I tried with that band in Black as Night in Portland. But on the way back, she was acting like all shy and antsy and everything. I'm like, what's going on, man? And she's like, "How the fuck do you sound exactly like Corey Taylor?"
I love that. That is so awesome though. Like, hell yeah, dude.
So I'm like, "Hey, fuck it." I mean, that wasn't even the first time I'd heard somebody say I sound similar to Corey Taylor. My son's mom told me. I recorded song number 3 for her back when we were dating, and then that was kind of like my solidifying moment where I'm like, all right, she's not just kissing my ass. This is real.
Sweet.
But Corey, I call my spirit animal because I always loved their music. I was always a maggot. Underneath this, I'm wearing my Slipknot shirt too, but it's kind of chilly out here. But I never really got to know the members of the band outside of the band itself. I never got to know who the people were behind the mask. I never really cared. But when my son's mom was pregnant with my son, I had like an existential crisis where I'm like, I don't even know who I am as a person right now. I've got to figure my shit out. I'm about to bring a kid into this world. I don't want to fuck him up the way my parents fucked me up. So
Oh.
I went around looking at a bunch of different little like biography books, just kind of like self-help people that went through like Dave Grohl's one of Dave Grohl's books. I read through that. The Heroin Diaries by Nikki Sixx. I read through that.
Oh yeah.
But I ended up stumbling across a copy of Seven Deadly Sins, and Corey's first book that he ever wrote. And I'm like, hold the fuck up. Why does he write like the way I speak? And so I went and got the audiobook and listened to it. I'm like, why the fuck does this motherfucker think the same way as I do?
That's cool. Yeah. Like an all-level doppelganger for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, my ultimate goal right now is to give that motherfucker his retirement. So I want Slipknot. That's my dream. That's my goal.
That's awesome.
That was the only band. And it's funny, he's got a similar story before Slipknot got big, before he joined them, because he wasn't a founding member, that the only band he ever saw that he ever thought to himself out of anyone else that he was going to sing for this band was Slipknot. And I thought that same fucking thing the very first time I wanted their, I believe it was the music video for Spit It Out. When I saw the music video for Spit It Out as a kid, I'm like, I want to be the singer for this band someday. And I'm not letting go of that.
Have you ever thought about doing like a tribute band? I mean, if you sound just like him, it would be so easy for you to do. And let's be honest, everyone in the industry knows that the tribute bands are the ones that are really in the money.
Making money.
They're the ones that make the money.
Yeah. So that's, a lot of inspiration from Slipknot, and then my comic book geekiness is where In Blackest Night came along, and where the title Rage Master ended up inevitably being born. I chose rage as my emotion to embody, to enact up on stage, and I've like that picture I sent you for the Facebook group. That's one I've got many faces of rage, I call them. I've got about 5 different looks that I cycle between, but my typical one is a skull mask that has a movable jawbone, so I can sing with it, and
yes,
yeah,
yes.
And I'll paint myself off. I change it every single time I do it. What kind of face paint I'm wearing underneath?
Oh, that's cool.
What?
Oh,
okay. I get froze for a second. Sorry.
Okay. I'm like, no worries. You can use your other device if you have to.
Yeah. So I like to change my face paint.
Like Tyler wants to say hey.
Hey, that's my drill sergeant, man. That's my drill sergeant.
That's awesome. Thanks for tuning in tonight. It says
he's an actor.
He did.
Yeah.
Hey, drill sergeant, can I tell him about the Puma commercial?
Oh. I wear Pumas.
He got some acting gigs right after our cycle was his last time going through as a drill sergeant.
He said to tell us right here. He said, "Tell him."
Tell him.
So there's as soon as he got out, our cycle was his last cycle, and as soon as he got out, he ended up taking some acting gigs. I don't know if he still does or not, but he was a Puma commercial, and it was a dude strapping in his Pumas and running and hopping the freaking border, and he played a border patrol agent. So it was like, that's gotta be the fastest Mexican I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
He sent it out to all of us and everything, and I just about pissed myself laughing.
Wow.
Like a fucking course.
That is hilarious. That's gotta be the best I've ever seen.
Oh man, he's learning some music stuff himself too.
Cool.
I believe he said he's trying to be a DJ.
Nice.
Yeah. DJs make a shit ton of money.
They do. They really do. What am I doing here over here trying to be a metal vocalist? You know,
Right.
He's the smart guy.
Oh, we get it because
The wrong
that's
fucking
our realm, you know,
business.
like totally our realm. I mean, we're drummers. I'm the main singer of the band too because we're a two piece, so sing and drum. And yeah, we make enough money
Yeah.
to, like get some food, pay our gas, maybe break even. You know, like when the merch sells, it's really nice. So
Yeah, that's a lot of people think that automatically that bands just make buku amounts
yeah.
of bucks and everything just because they're in a band. It's no, the ticket sales they don't split a whole
Okay,
lot
let's
with the
put it to
venue.
you this way. My last show at the Chop Suey in Seattle, I ended up buying 4 tickets to my own fucking show in ticket sales so that we had enough ticket sales to be able to play the fucking show.
Oh, one of those. Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, because you had to sell
shit.
at least 10 tickets to be able to play the show. We had 4 already sold, and then my guitarist's parents were buying tickets, and so I was like, okay, well,
Right.
but here's the thing: I was able to fill all 4 of those spots, so
That's good.
Well,
That's
that's
good.
it didn't go to waste.
Yeah.
But it's still, you know, I had to pay tickets to my own show just to be able to play.
Oh yeah, and there's so
that
many
blows,
bands
man.
that have to do that, and like what is hard to get word out to the fans, not the fans that are also musicians, but the fans that are music lovers, is that musicians need the ticket sales beforehand so that we make the money. I mean, you will buy tickets at the
Mhm.
door, but that is split between
Yeah.
everyone else.
Between the door guy, the bar,
Sound
the sound man, if there's a separate light guy.
the
Yeah.
venue. Yep. So yeah, separate light person. So
Yeah.
when and I know it's because they're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, and then they show up and they go, which we appreciate. We want you there, but like that's why ticket sales are so important. That's why we push them so
Yeah.
that we can make a little bit of money too.
And if you have 5 band members, you're only getting like $12.
Yep, Hypnotex. Yep, been there. We know.
I'm
Yes.
having some connection issues. Hold on, I'm gonna pop it.
Okay.
I'm gonna pop up on my phone real quick.
Okay, well,
Okay.
just a second. No worries.
We got this.
Yeah, we do. Chet says my last show made net loss $50K. What the fuck? For real? Are you being sarcastic? Because that's a shit ton. Like,
You lost 50 grand? How do you lose 50 fucking grand? Like,
oh, that's a
did you have to? I'm gonna kick him. Did you have to like rent the venue?
yeah. That's where the money
And
goes.
if you did you have to get the insurance to cover your gas like that? I could see how it goes, but
yeah,
it just depends upon like what kind of show it was,
yeah,
where
like
it was.
events. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If it's an event, you absolutely need insurance to cover everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Contracts.
Guys, Jordan's going to come back in case you didn't catch that. He is having to switch over his device, so no worries. We can chat until he's back up.
He said he made $2 million.
Okay. So it seems like it was a pretty large event. Gotcha. And yeah, with that, with insurance, with venue costs, with all the rentals, paying.
Whatever. He says he made a willow. Wait, no, 2 willows.
Oh.
2 villains.
2 million. That was a lie. I had.
He lied.
I lied. Thank you. Okay. But yeah, we know like trying to put together festivals, how expensive it can get. And we're not the ones putting on the festivals. I shouldn't say that, but we're involved with groups that put them on or invite.
I mean, I have in the past, but
right.
no, usually we're just jumping on some bill, just trying to fill a spot. because
Well,
other fans ask us to play.
Yep.
But you still have to do your work. You still have to sell tickets and you still have to promote because you still need people to go there. Because if the venue does good, then you're gonna do better.
Absolutely.
And hopefully you can play venues that have like a regular crowd base. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That
Tyler wants
just
to
go
know,
for the.
where do you guys play at the most? We have a variety of venues out here, actually, that we've both played at.
Yeah.
So Tacoma, Washington has a lot of live venues left, and different venues from, venues have shifted ownership and names,
Yes.
the post-pandemic time. And we have Seattle-based clubs that we've played before. We've both played before, or clubs that.
I play a lot of Seattle. I
Mhm,
play a lot of Tacoma.
yep, that's where I play a lot too, is
Yeah.
more so Tacoma and Seattle. We've played Olympia. So some
Yeah,
of the venues that come to mind that we played together, the Columbia City Theater.
that's in Seattle.
We played Chop Suey.
I just literally played there again, and that's also Seattle.
I love Chop Suey. Oh, hi!
Hey, I'm back.
Yay, perfect.
Get that glare out of the way. Jeez.
Oh, Hypnotech says they're fond of the Lucky Dime in Everett. Thank you for sharing
I
that.
don't even know where that's at.
I've heard of it.
It's probably like one of those venues that used to be something, but now it's something else.
Yeah.
Can't say I've heard of Everett even.
Oh, it's okay.
Right, that's a
North of
Seattle thing, north of Seattle. I will be right back.
Okay, perfect. So
Roger,
Jordan, we
Roger.
were talking about venues that we've played because it was a question that your friend Tyler had for us. So what
Okay.
venues have you played?
There's not a whole lot in Southern Utah, to be quite honest with you, and I've played all three that actually accept metal bands.
Nice. Okay.
So there's a spot. It used to be called Jazzy's. It's called Blues Cats now. Played there with one of my bands. Another one was just a park. Like there was a park that had I told you earlier about how I got escorted out as a kid. And I played a little bit of a park show with some of my buddies when I was in my younger 20s. And it was just one of those days where they were just letting, almost like an open mic night type of deal, but it was in the park. So me and my buddies got up and did, yeah. And then up in Cedar City, there's a place called the Blackbird Bar. And that's where basically everyone down here plays because they're always looking for metal bands. That's like the metal scene to play at down here.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wondered what the scene was like in Utah. I don't think we've ever had an artist on from Utah. And we've had people from all over the world, all over the nation. So I was like, oh, he's from Utah? We got to have that dude on.
It's a surprisingly huge metal scene when it comes to fans. But
Sweet.
When it comes to musicians, it's such a small pool, especially where I live. Yeah. When you get further up north towards Salt Lake, there's a bunch of bands up there, but there's kind of an elitist mentality up there where like if you haven't been playing with this band for this long, or if you haven't opened for these people, this, that, or the other, they don't even want to fucking they won't give you the time of day.
Wow.
But down here, it's like
that here.
Here, it's like the same dozen people are all cycling through all the bands. So it's like this band's drummer is also playing with this band. He's the bassist for this band, and then the singers are the guitars for this band, and it's all over the place.
Wow. I literally drum for 3 bands.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like down here. Especially if you're a drummer. Drummers
I was going to say, drummers
really, really hard to come by.
Yep.
I'm guilty. And I can play bass.
Matter of fact,
I'm dabbling in guitar.
I'd like to, speaking of drummers, I'd like to take this time to give a shout out to my boy Jack. He plays for a band called After We Die. Yeah, Jack is, in my humble opinion, the best drummer in the entire state. The
Ooh,
entire He is phenomenal.
the award-winning drummer.
He It's a
Okay,
funny,
I mean that's Utah, right? So
yeah, yeah.
I love it.
He It's a funny story. One of the bands I ended up playing with last year, I always get mixed up with bands that have three worded names. Every
Okay.
Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, like they none of them will even sound the same, but I always mix them the fuck
Mix
up.
of
I don't know
names.
why. But there was two different bands. It's called Subject to Fail, and then Foolish at Best, that were playing down here.
Oh,
And
cool. Names.
Foolish at Best reached out to me, and I thought it was Subject to Fail. And I showed up at the band meeting when they were bringing me on, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard you guys' drummer Jack play. He's fucking phenomenal." And everyone just looked at me like I was a dumbass. I'm like,
Oh
"Oh, this is the wrong band, isn't it?" I'd never heard a single song from Foolish at Best whatsoever. I didn't know anything about them whatsoever. And so they had a show coming up 2 weeks after they pulled me up, and I had to learn their entire discography in those 2 weeks. And I'm like, "Oh fuck, I don't know
oh my
I don't know
God.
what I'm doing here."
Oh.
Fortunately, we did it was their previous vocalist like farewell show, so we did like a dual vocals show where I took the first half of the set, he took the second half of the set, and then we closed out together with a couple of the songs. And so it wasn't that hard of a learning curve for me. But after I left them, I was already in my band Karina. I was mentioning earlier with my buddy, my producer Drew. That's who I've recorded all my music with. Anything that I've actually put out and anything I've done as a musician was with that band. Um, but it was kind of hit and miss. Our scheduling was kind of sporadic. It was supposed to be every Sunday, but like his work schedule was pretty crazy, and my life schedule was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to balance work, life, being a father, and being in two different bands was chaotic as hell, to say the least. And
Yeah.
so we ended up, for the first couple of months we were together, we only put together 2 songs. For like the first 4 months we were together, we put 2 songs together. But then after I left Foolish at Best, we cranked it up into overtime. And it just so happened that my son's, my time with my son was coming to an end, and he was going back to his mom for a while. So I'm like, I'm completely open across the board, even if I'm working 24 hours a day, motherfucker. Let's do this. And so we ended up cranking out. We wrote a bunch. We ended up writing a bunch of stuff, but we only ended up getting probably about half of what we were yeah, I want to say we wrote probably about 20 songs, and we recorded bits of most of those other songs and never fully put them together. But we got about 5 of them fully finished within about a month. We cranked it up. It used to just be like he'd have me come in, sit down. He turned his bedroom into a whole his bedroom was a studio with his bed
Yes, I
tucked
love
into the
that.
corner. And he has his own record label too. It's called Drop Dead Productions. And we were, and
we're Room One Studios.
we were trying to, on top of writing our own stuff, we were also headhunting for talent that we could, pick up for the labels as well. So I was helping them with, listen to some stuff, kind of doing some A&R work, if I'm being quite honest with you, low key some A&R stuff. So we would kind of scout out some bands, and we ended up finding a huge bunch of people that were interested in like Europe, like the Eastern Europe area, and we were even talking about potentially putting together a tour with
Nice.
with them and everything. But I ended up moving up north to Salt Lake. Ran into some problems. I was living with a friend, and his mom was not the nicest person in the world, and was incredibly mean to my son, almost borderline abusive to him. And
Not good.
I stood up to her respectfully, civilly, even though like she was being really bitchy to my son, and she had no real right to me being as nice as I was being to her. Um, she came to me, yanked him into the room, like grabbed him by the arm and yanked him into the room, like aggressively, because he found a quarter in the kitchen on the kitchen counter, and was bitching about it. And when I went, okay, so like what she used to do is she would put some extra little pocket change in case I needed it for bus fare or something like that. You know, it was a nice thing for her to do, and like I stopped using it because I got to a point where I was making, you know, I had concurrent income coming in, and I
Mhm.
just didn't need it anymore. My son knew that that's where my change was supposed to be. He ended up taking a quarter from my pile, and when I didn't react the way she wanted me to, she gave us 12 hours to get the fuck out.
Whoa, that's
Yeah,
crazy, dude.
yeah. So I ended up having to uproot everything, move up to Salt Lake. I was
Ah,
playing with a band at the time called, you know, it was Jack's band. He um, Subject to Fail ended up becoming what they're known as now, After We Die, and they are fucking awesome.
I feel like I've heard Subject to Fail before.
They've got a pretty good presence on social media. Like
okay.
they changed their name to After We Die probably about, I want to say 6 months ago,
Okay.
six to
Oh
7 months
yeah,
ago.
because yeah, Subject. I know the name Subject to Fail.
Yeah, they played a lot down here. They had another band on the side too. I can't remember what it was fucking called. But Subject to Fail was the one I was paying attention to, and then it became After We Die, and they were having issues with their vocalist at the time. He was kind of a punk and really pompous, really egotistical, and I mean that kind of goes with the territory as a vocalist. Vocalists always come with a form of ego, but
It's called lead singer syndrome.
exactly. But like, there's a healthy balance to that where you can keep
Serious.
your ego
Yeah.
in check
Yeah.
and still, you know, still
Right.
get up there and tear motherfuckers' heads
And
off.
there's definitely a lot of artists like that, but then there's those few that spoil it and get labeled for,
Hmm.
that.
The
Yeah,
LLSS.
and
Yep.
he was one of those in the latter category for sure.
Mm.
Boom.
And so like
Don't beat it big, people.
they did like a little backyard show at their guitarist Tristan's dad's backyard, just, you know, like a little pool party show. And they started playing "Psychosocial" by Slipknot, and Tristan just gave me the
Yes.
eye, you know, like get up here,
Yelling.
motherfucker. And I'm like, oh, don't tempt
Your
me.
time to shine.
As soon as I got up
Yes.
there, that's when they made the decision that they wanted me, and they were going to give the guy one more chance to, you know, he never showed up to practice on time. It was even kind of like a spitballs chance in the dark if he was even going to show for practice, and he would give them attitude anytime he wouldn't show up and shit. Like, you know, "Oh, deal with it. Who else are you gonna get?" Well, me. um, and then I had to uproot that. I had to leave. I feel terrible for it, but I had to end up uprooting my life and leaving. And I left them without a vocalist. But thankfully, they've got another guy that jumped in, and he's pretty good.
I was
He's
checking
not
out some of their stuff
he's not
earlier
mean.
because I found them on your page and I am impressed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you went and checked them out.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really freaking awesome, and they're all phenomenal freaking musicians. Like if I ever got, you know, if I get the chance to put my band in Black as Night together, all those motherfuckers are at the top of my list.
Nice.
Um, but brings me around full circle because I mentioned
Yes,
before
you
we
have some
started the
news to
show,
share. Yes.
I got some news.
Yes.
So I just reached out, you know, musician finder groups on Facebook and stuff, just posting some of my music that I've done and saying I'm looking to put, you know, to put together a new band. And I had a record label reach out to me from that.
Woo.
It was Raven, K Ravenhawk. He's the lead singer for a band down here called Six String Revolver, and they're one of the biggest bands in the state, if not the biggest band in the
I've
state.
heard of that name
Yeah,
too.
we've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a pretty big deal. They've played with
Neat.
a lot of people. They opened up for Saliva actually a few months back.
Nice.
Nice.
Mhm. Um, but he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, he runs a label called From the Ashes, and set up a meeting with me for 3:30 on Monday to sit down and talk a deal, trying to help me get my band reformed under the name In Blackest Night, and get ownership of all the songs that I wrote with my last band, and as well as re-record them, get music videos set up, the works, man. It's a pretty I have to sit down and get the fine details still, but from
Yeah,
everything that
make
he's
sure you're not selling all of your rights. You know what I
yeah
mean?
yeah of course,
Because
but
I've seen bands do that, and they sold it for like $2,000.
yeah
Well, now
yeah
you don't
so
ever own those songs again, ever.
yeah so I'm gonna go over with a fine comb. I've been screwed over, not with music but with other deals in the
Yeah.
past. um but he's an awesome dude. He's always been really, really supportive of the local music scene. He had an eye on me from the moment I got back down, and I moved back down here about a year ago. He had an eye on me instantly. Was drawn to me, reached out to me to potentially collab with him on a song. It didn't end up working out scheduling wise, but yeah, he's been there. He's been there. He's been like my number one fan since the very, very fucking get go. Ever since I got down in this area, so I've got lots of hope. I'm crossing all my fingers on my toes.
Yes.
If I could cross my dick, I would.
Well, we're hoping for you too, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I hope that things take off for you because you got good vibes.
yeah, for sure.
I'm just a goofy little guy, you know what I mean?
Well, it sounds like you're making all the right connections, which is
Yes.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Tyler had a question a while back, and I wanted to highlight it.
what's
Do you
that?
guys make music videos? Oh, sorry, I'll bring it back up. Music videos.
I'll let you guys go ahead and answer first.
Oh, I
I
have.
have live music videos.
Sorry. So yeah, I have several music videos. You can check them out on our YouTube, The Maxwell's Rock. Probably easiest to find all of our stuff on our website, themaxwellsrock.com. So you can check out our music videos there. We have several. They were really fun to make.
I'll have to go check them out because you sent me the link over on Facebook.
I did,
We're
yeah.
gonna be making videos soon.
Yes, soon. Crash's bands are putting some stuff together, and definitely have some shows to plug before we go.
Yes, and we only have like 7 minutes left on the show.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and plug all of that. So Jordan, we want you to plug where our followers can follow you and
Yes.
find you.
It's pretty easy actually, because the Rage Master turns out wasn't really taken by anyone. There was a guy who used to do like Red Bull stunts or something like that. He was like on the Red Bull stunt team that went by the name just Rage Master like 10, 15 freaking years ago, but he doesn't make stuff anymore. So I'm like, well, the Rage Master is not taken.
Right.
So
It's
you
not.
can find me on YouTube at The Rage Master, or you can just look for my name, Jordan Hawk. Over on Instagram, it's JT Hawk Rage, as well as on Threads, and then TikTok, it's The Rage Master as well. And it is a period between each of the words. So it's the period Rage period Master.
Okay. Cool. Check them out everywhere, you guys.
Yes.
I don't really make music videos per se, but I also don't not make music videos, if that makes sense. I use for a lot of my vocal covers that I do. I use a karaoke app on my phone called Smule,
Oh, okay.
and
That's awesome.
I just dress up, deck up in all my masks and everything. Or if it's sometimes people have been asking to see my face, so I've been doing quite a few of those with just this ugly mug you're looking at right now. But yeah, like they've got a bunch of effects, and I've got a history with doing video editing because I ran a YouTube channel for about 4 years. That was Let's Play stuff. So
That's cool.
and I studied a lot of film development when I was in high school. So it's a really awesome, skill to have in general. Like, it takes me like 10 minutes to throw together a video, with all my presets and everything I've got set up. I've been doing it for so long now, so like I already know what I want to do with it at the end of the day.
Well, that's really cool, dude.
Yeah.
Well, we want to stay in touch with you. We want to know everything
Yes.
you're up to, and keep in touch so that we can help promote stuff for you, and
We can
also
share stuff,
Absolutely, like you guys are I'll be a regular guest if you guys will have
Aw,
me.
I love that.
we will definitely have to have you back. Sure thing. We want to know how you're doing in a while, with all of the things that are coming your way. So yes.
It's very exciting.
Okay, so we have about 4 more minutes left. Crash, you have to plug your shows coming up. Go ahead, girl.
Okay, so November 23rd, Villain Plays the Victim will be debuting with me on drums for the very first time at the Blue Moon in North Seattle. It's the U District. It's going to be a fun show. And then the weekend after, again, at the Blue Moon, my other band, Moopsy, will be playing a show. So that will be
Hell yeah.
That's going to be super cool.
I'll be there in spirit.
I'm pretty excited about
Yes, you will be.
the November 23rd show. Playing with Villain Plays the Victim for the first time. I'm pretty excited about that.
That's
I am
freaking
excited
awesome.
for you. I can't wait for that. I'm so happy for you. So yeah, Jordan, we hope that you make it up to our neck of the woods because our scene is pretty fun. So yeah.
If I have it my way, I'm going to make it to everyone's neck of the woods.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, see ya. Cool. Well, excellent.
We should really bring that segment back, but I don't know when we would ever have time.
Oh my gosh, right? We used to do a 2-hour show and it was like really long and hard to fill the space. Sometimes, not always.
Yeah, but then like your neck of the woods just got to be huge.
Did because your neck of the woods was like the entire world. So it was like, okay. And this band is playing downtown London tonight. So all of you
these people are playing in Georgia.
Well, that's a hell of a thing for you guys to do. Shout out to bands that are playing in different areas and everything. That's
yeah,
really cool.
it was really cool. It was really fun, and then it changed during the pandemic.
Yeah,
when there was nothing live, and then a record label got a hold of us to start doing live stream concerts, and we did a whole series of that, and that really launched us and got us connected with people all over the world. It was really cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And we navigated so many obstacles with that because bringing in people virtually from like Spain, Germany, Hawaii, like Mexico.
Oh, it was everywhere. It was
very
Ireland, Guatemala, Brazil, wasn't there?
There was people from everywhere, different time zones. So like their time slots, we had to keep in mind when they would be coming in, when we would need to connect them.
Yeah.
It was a wild ride. I'm glad we did it.
It sounds like a wild ride, man.
It was.
I know we're running out of time, but like my own connections with worldwide where I'm a video game developer too on the side besides making music. I've been trying to kickstart my own like shared universe of video games, and my first game project I ended up making a huge amount of connections with people all over the world as amateur voice actors that were willing to just come in and do it just for the exposure.
Wow.
Like I couldn't even promise them any pay, and they're like, "Screw it, we just want the experience,"
Yeah.
So I made a lot of really, really awesome friends that I still keep in really close contact with to this day through that.
Nice.
That's how I met my son's mom, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool how we have these technological platforms that keep us connected with all sorts of different people we would never have had connections with before.
Yes.
So yeah, super cool. Well, thanks, Jordan. You have been a delightful guest. We've had a blast.
Yes, you are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all your stories.
Hey, thank you guys for having me and entertaining my bullshit. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
love bullshit.
You. Well, all right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining us tonight. Make sure to share the link so that others can view this and so that they don't miss out.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And don't forget to hit that follow button also.
Absolutely.
straight.
Thank you so much. All right, we will be posting about the music video montage that we're going to be putting together in a couple weeks, everybody. Make sure to send us those music videos and we will get you hooked up with that. So, yeah, we're going to be ending our season 16 with that montage and, starting out the holiday season with y'all. All right, I will take us out. Let's go. That's awesome. You guys keep rocking and stay safe out there. We absolutely love you guys.